Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. Today I'm joined by popular demand, Huskypuppies, one of the highest ranked players in Marvel Snap, Twitch connoisseur, one of the players that you can go to on Twitch TV to catch some elite high-level gameplay, some elite deck crafting as well. My man, it's great to finally have you back on the Snapchat.
It is phenomenal to be back. I am very, very happy to be here, and it's just... it's always a pleasure. It's always nice to see you, be around you, and this amazing podcast that you got here.
Thanks, buddy. And you know what? It's funny because I love your shirt. You are wearing a PAX 24 shirt, and I am wearing my Acquisitions Incorporated sweater here, which you can't really see because my mic was covering. We actually just hung out at PAX. We got to go see Acquisitions Incorporated live. The brand new era of Acquisitions Incorporated. It was a ton of fun. It's great to hang out with you in person. I got to tell you, Husky's an absolute chat in person, too. What an absolute gentleman, I got to tell you. And we had a lot of fun there at the show. And maybe I'll get to see you at PAX East. I take you might be there in Boston.
I plan on it, and if you guys are planning on it as well, maybe, maybe we'll see you guys there too.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we both love PAX. It's something that both Husky and I have in common. The other thing we have in common is we both play Marvel Snap. We both enjoy Marvel Snap.
Oh, I love it.
And we both experienced the Marvel Snap OTA that dropped. This might be the fastest straight up intro into an actual conversation about Marvel Snap. All the people in the comments that are like, yo, it took them 9 minutes to talk about Marvel Snap cards. They're actually like living their best life right now as we get to Marvel Snap in less than 3 minutes. We had an OTA drop. We're going to be talking about a couple things today. We're going to be talking about the OTA. We're going to be reviewing Weapon X, Adamantium Infusion, Chamber. We're also going to be talking about Weapon H in preview. And then we've got some mailbag questions as well. But when discussing the OTA, there is one place we've got to go for sure. And that is with the nerf to one Human Torch. Human Torch going from a 3-3 to a 3-2. Husky, you're already celebrating. I'll give you the floor here, buddy. What do you think?
Okay. Move has been dominant for far longer than I think most people realize. It turns out when a card can double this easily, and there's an entire archetype around getting it to double, it gets very, very good. The fact that we had an entire archetype that was just make Human Torch as big as you can, and then, yeah, I'll just spend 6 energy to play the Living Tribunal, and that wins. This card's nerf was a long time overdue. I think ever since Sparky came out, it was just the critical mass that really pushed it over the edge. And in Top Infinite, this list has been so dominant. Just if you want to climb high and really just be able to skill diff and reposition your cards in a very good way, Move was the way to do it. Like, Sizer has been top of the leaderboards forever, and his main deck is Move, and Human Torch has been at the forefront of it forever. Long time coming. Love to see the nerf.
You know what? For me, it's been like, obviously I'm not at the upper echelons of Infinite the way you are. I was seeing less of it, but one thing that really stood out to me was that Move lacked an identity that was like fun to play and fun to engage with at all. It had like the Hela problem. Let me explain. Hela was frustrating because outside of just Cosmoing something, you couldn't really deal with it. And even then, you couldn't really Cosmo with the most recent versions of Hela unless you were kind of just gambling, right? Hela was just too uninteractive. You had no way to counter it, and it was strong. Human Torch, you're thinking, well, Alex, that doesn't really make sense. You can Shadow King this thing. You can Shun-Chi it. And of course you can. But what do you do when it's sitting on Madam Web? How do you even if you have initiative, the moves resolve first. And so like the opportunity to actually Shun-Chi or, hit this with a Shadow King was much harder because it was moving prior to the cards even like showing themselves being staged. You know what I mean? Like it's moving in a way that makes it hard to even counter from a tech perspective, to the point where you're seeing ongoing decks that were just running Mercury to just shut down Move. And they were actually pretty good in that time frame there. So I felt like Human Torch had to get changed. I will say, however, I do think Move is a really fun archetype, and lately I've been seeing more of a climb of like the Spider-Punk, Hydra Stomper style move, where it's like the mass movers. That's what I think Move should be. Forget about these singular Tower of Power cards like Human Torch. Forget about these one-trick opportunities to get Human Torch to massive powers, drop that Tribunal like you're talking about. I like the idea of you're moving cards, Craven's carrying in its own way, Batroc the Leaper's carrying in his own way, Hydra Stomper's carrying in his own way. Like, all those small cards giving small little wins everywhere is where I think Move really shines. So get rid of Human Torch. I'm actually happy to see this nerf.
That is a phenomenal take there. I absolutely love that. Yeah, the deck you were mentioning, the popular one, I believe, was created by Iris. They are I think they've made it to rank 2, if not higher, with that sort of deck. And yeah, by having not just Human Torch as your big payoff thing that carries the entire game, you have Batroc, Craven, Dagger, you got Hydra Stomper. There are multiple points of interaction, and the game isn't reduced to, hey, can I kill your Human Torch? If no, I lose. It's, okay, I can, maybe take away your Batroc and take away other small things and make the game closer, far less of a blowout. Also, Cosmo in the Human Torch decks, being able to move Cosmo is nuts. You put a Cosmo on a Madam Web lane, it's like, now you don't only have to guess where to shang it, you have to guess if you're going to get Cosmoed or something. Oh my god. I'm really happy with this change.
Yeah, very important change. And if you're going to get excited about that one, you may as well get excited about this one as well, as War Machine also got changed to a 5/9 from a 4/6. Still the same ongoing ability, nothing can stop you from play cards anywhere. Super Jeff, essentially. What are your thoughts on this one here? Now, some are saying that, hey, this is just a buff to Electro. Sure, maybe, I guess. But it does make the on-curve play of Storm into War Machine into Legion less of a factor, which is exactly what had to happen because that deck is super cringe. And it is very reminiscent of the days of your old Spider-Man, Absorbing Man combinations where players literally just couldn't play Marvel Snap. So I'm glad they made this change. Of all the changes they could have made, it was probably the most elegant, although I still think that they probably should revert the nerf to Storm probably. But anyways, Husky, what do you think?
No, this is the best change they could have made in a far better way than I even thought possible. Storm into War Machine into Legion was not the best deck, no, but being a completely shut out of a game just sucks. It's why a lot of people hate Clog, and this is turbo Clog. It's not taking away board space, it is taking away the board if you do not have an answer to that. And by making War Machine unable to do that combo and buffing it in the way that I think the developers kind of want us to play this as it's an Electro card that you can ramp out the Infinite and Ebony Maw and, do cool blink things. Because previously, as a 4-drop, you'd go either Luna Snow into Electro into, okay, I guess I can play War Machine, but I'm playing a 4/6 with 5 energy, and that kind of stinks. But a 5/9 coming out of Blink or just played from hand makes it a lot better, especially with the recent release of Chamber. But we'll get to that later.
We will. We'll definitely discuss Chamber as well. But War Machine definitely had to get touched up there. Now, at High Infinite, I'd be actually interested in your take on this next one. Because Morgan Le Fay was not a popular card. But there was a specific deck out there. It was the the Morgan Le Fay Airwalker type stuff that was happening. Wasn't popular by any means, still less than a percentage played overall. It was the only place she was seeing play. But going into this season where you have things like Wild Child and Phantom X, and you have all these things that are kind of trying to bank on these hybrid style decks and cards, I mean, this is the ultimate kind of enabler for these like hybrid style decks. And so what do you think of this Morgan Le Fay change? To be clear for the audio listeners, Morgan Le Fay going from a 4/7 to a 3/4. And I believe she even launched it at a 4/6, if I remember correctly. I'm not sure. Did she get buffed?
I can't remember.
Whatever. She's a 3/4 now. What do you think, Husky?
It's fascinating because obviously you have the less consistency of, hey, Airwalker doesn't work with Morgan anymore. That kind of sucks because if you don't draw Morgan, you can't really get Morgan's effect. However, being Morgan at a 3 cost is huge because Morgan's a card you have to play on turn 5, assuming there's no limbo. And you are now able to go either Carnage plus Morgan to really, really get some last turn juice, or you can go Grandmaster, reprocking another destroy card that's already down into Morgan. It becomes so much more flexible because a 4 plus a 1, what are you going to do with that to set up? Maybe you play like out a Hydra Bob that you didn't get to destroy later. But now it's just making that Morgan game plan a little bit less consistent, but a consistently higher payoff in a way that I'm not sure if it's completely worth it at high infinite, but feels so much better to do when you do the thing.
At 3 cost, you can slide it into the curve much easier, right? And I think that's the key thing. At 4 cost, she was very expensive. And even then, it felt like you were kind of committing to playing her on turn 5, right? Like, because you had to kind of get things destroyed. Like, you actually have to do the thing. You have to discard or destroy. Like, you only got 6 turns, 7 with magic. But let's just assume you're always playing 6 turns. It's like, you can only do so much in 6 turns, right? And so these types of cards really do need a little bit of love. But the one thing that makes me a little nervous is Marvel Snap has had 2 very consistent things happen. Cards that double are broken and cards that do +3 are broken. And now we have a card that's a 3/4 that does +3. I wonder if it will break. Morgan Le Fay, a very interesting deck design card. Now, talking about +3s, the old Elsa Bloodstone used to be an absolutely insane season pass card, but now it only does each card you play to fill your side of a location gains +2 power, but it is a 3/5, so great stat line. The thing I'll throw at you, Husky, and I want your high infinite take on this. I wonder if it's a power issue with Elsa Bloodstone.
There are easier things to do. It is easier to generate cards with Victoria Hand. It's easier to make your deck the same power with Cerebro. There are better ways to get +2 and +3 than Elsa Bloodstone. And, I don't think Elsa Bloodstone's going to be top of the meta for that, but I think that's okay. It is fine to make, some decks that are, not great, just a little bit better, because this is a fun card for a lot of people. People like this card. It enables an archetype that is kind of unique. And I'm glad it's getting a little bit of love, even if that means it won't be meta dominant.
Poor Swordmaster. The example that I get to use is, do you remember like in The Office where Michael Scott got the snip, snap over and over again? That's Swordmaster. He goes from a 3/6 to a 3/7, back to a 3/6. Now he's a 3/7 again, right? And then, you like that one? I'm glad you enjoyed that one.
I didn't expect it. It's like, I never thought of like one power be like I didn't expect. Yeah.
You weren't prepared for that. This show is not scripted, friends. It's not scripted. We do have Swordmaster going to a 3/7. And what I think this is I think this is a Weapon H buff. Like, I know we got to talk about Weapon H later in preview, but Weapon H is basically always going to be odd. It's always going to be an odd number, starting at 7, getting discounted by 2. Look at that. Grade 2 math. We did it, guys. Swordmaster. This to me is like, did they test Weapon H and be like, we can't buff him because he's a 7/14. But we can buff Swordmaster. Right?
This card is interesting. It's not going to be good until Weapon H comes out, because the places that you'd want to play this is Hela, but there is the Danish version of Hela. For those of you guys who don't know what that one is, it's a very, very weird gambly version with Odin, Legion, Corvus, and sometimes the current version's even running Mercury, which is, or at least it was. It's very, very weird. Don't worry about it. But it couldn't run this one. The other place I want to play this is Cerebro 7, just because I am a sucker for that deck, and it's very, very funny. It's not good. But yeah, this card is going to be, this is definitely a Weapon H buff, get people excited. And, I like that he's back at a 3/7. He's a cool condition to try to meet.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. And talking about discard as well, Helicarrier, this is probably a card people forgot existed. It went from 6/10 to 6/12. And what I think is funny about this is I've not clicked in Helicarrier for so long that the custom card animation, you didn't see it just like shuffled away, meaning that like when they did the whole custom card thing, I've literally not selected this card since. This card has just been totally forgotten about. There was a point in time where Helicarrier discard with like collector and stuff was actually pretty good. It was legit. And I think it's just been outclassed here. The funny thing about Helicarrier is that like you don't really play Helicarrier unless it gets generated by like, Valentina or Nick Fury or whatever. So I guess it's a buff for all the generative cards that potentially can get Helicarrier. But like if you're gonna play Helicarrier, you're gonna discard it. So I mean, I guess there's that. What I really want your opinion on is the next 2 cards. All right, we got Dormammu. The buffs to Dormammu will continue until morale improves, was a comment that I saw on a recent video. Dormammu now a 7-13. What's your take on this, Husky?
I think this is very similar to the Helicarrier, and it's like, I don't think either of these cards are going to become top meta. Helicarrier especially, just because, yeah, you're discarding it more than you're playing it. But like Dormammu, I have people that I know, Roram, Jimmy, to name a few, who really, really like either Dormammu or, their Helicarrier stuff, and they have fun with it. These are fun, cool cards that make an interesting win condition. It's not the best thing to do, and that's fine. These buffs aren't going to make them the best thing to do, and that's okay. These are fun cards. I'm glad Dormammu's getting a little bit of extra power because he's a cool card to cook with. You can do werewolf stuff. You can do like a high evo abomination thing that Roram was trying out not too long ago. The second stage afflicts the enemy cards, and you use that to discount the high evo A-bomb in a really, really cool way that probably isn't the best thing to do. But these cards are fun. I'm glad they got buffed.
Yeah, they need to. I think that Dormammu brings such a unique flavor to Snap as well that I'm glad it got buffed. The question for me, though, is like, I don't know if Dormammu needs power as much as he needs a little bit of refinement on these skills, which I just clicked off. These skills, like, they're not horrible, but like, they're like, maybe the last one needs to be cheaper. Maybe that this one needs to destroy. So I wonder if the skills got to get the quest moving faster. Like, is this a skill problem or a Dormammu power problem?
I mean, it's a little. Eventually, if you crank up the dial on Dormammu, he'll see play like high enough. I don't know what that bar is, but if you make him like a 20, he'll see play, sure. But yeah, it probably is I think it's more of an interaction problem. Dormammu's has a problem of, oh, I kind of know where you're going to summon your big thing, and I'm just gonna not play cards there, or I'm going to Shang there, or I'm going to move one of the cards you want to destroy out of there, and I'm just going to mess you up in a way that, if I'm moving your cards, I know I'm moving your cards, you don't know your cards are getting moved, and suddenly you lose the game. And your cube loss is even more than it would be if, Dormammu just didn't work for whatever reason. So it's telegraph. The conditions are hard. It's like something needs to change if you really want to see this take over. But I'm okay where it's at.
Yeah, and Destroy's gotten lots of love recently, too. I would be curious to know how many people got Dormammu. I bet you it sold well because it's such a fascinating
it's a cool card.
And even like when I think back to my review, I wasn't that far off. Like I was winning games with it. Like I was doing okay with it. Like, yeah, I wasn't grinding top 10 infinite or anything, but I was winning games, right? It was fun. I found it very novel. I got to play Bucky Barnes. You know what I mean? Like it was stuff like that. So it's like, I liked the card. And maybe it just needs a little bit more love. But thankfully, there's a million dials on it. So they got so many dials to try to cook with it. But you know what? Of all the changes, you might think that, hey, Alex, those are cool changes. But there's one that stands above the rest. Now, this is absolutely ridiculous. We have a change to Spiderman Noir, going from a 4-6 to a 4-4. Oh, no, they nerfed it. But wait, there's more. They did not nerf it. They actually buffed it like crazy. On reveal, it now reads, set the top card of your deck's power to 8. Which would have been good enough for a card already. But there's more. If your other cards in play cost exactly 8 total, add it here. So not only are you basically doing it's almost like Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom makes it free. This one makes it 8 power. Pretty cool. Except now you could actually get it pulled from your deck for free. Deck thinning, as long as you're doing a little bit of math, up to 8, you can do that. The floor on Spiderman Noir just got drastically increased. Because all the time, it was like a 4-6 vanilla card half the time when I was testing it. When it popped off, it popped off. And now the floor is so much higher. Husky, what do you think about this rework to Spider-Man Noir?
This is a beautiful rework. This has also alleviated, I think, the biggest problem with Spider-Man Noir, which is the lack of ability to get extra value out of his on reveal. Previously, hey, I can't re-trigger the on reveal because Spider-Man Noir's second time looking at his cards, it's going to see the card that it pulled unless you pulled a 0-cost card. The 8 condition isn't going to be met. Now what you have is a very, very interesting way to get, hey, this is still a very, very solid thing that I like a lot. And now you can Grandmaster or Prodigy it. And the great thing is, I found this out yesterday with a help of a viewer of mine and a fellow streamer on Twitch, Smiz, or Smiles is his actual name, but I like saying his name wrong. But what you can do is you can play a 2-drop into a 3-drop into Noir, purposefully miss his on reveal, oh no, so it goes, and then you can Grandmaster the Noir. He'll C8, he'll move to the middle, and he'll pull something out of the deck, and then play a 3-drop, and it works really, really well in Surfer, especially with, I can't remember the name of the card that's coming out, the 3/3 activate, add this card's power to the next card you play.
That would be Maverick.
Yeah, that guy. And it wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. It was I'm playing this to a much higher level of scrutiny than I think most players are, and at a level that was a little bit unrefined. But it was feeling good. It felt like there was something there, rather than building your deck around Spiderman Noir and losing and just praying you don't draw him. I was hoping I was going to draw him, because suddenly I'm setting 2, maybe sometimes 3 cards of my deck to 8 power, and that is bonkers if you build your deck right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that they revisited Spider-Man Noir. This does cause the frustration, though, of like, well, I didn't roll for it in the packs when it was there. Now I got to wait for it to rotate in if it ends up being meta. It's one of the kind of pain points of Snap's like FOMO system of like card rotation, where it's like, hey, like, you buffed it, which is cool. I like that they buff cards underperform, because if people are just rolling packs and they get Spider-Man Noir, they shouldn't be like, no, I'm never going to use this. This sucks, right? They should be excited that they rolled Noir and they're like, okay, cool, I get to try something new with it. But now people are like, well, it's gone. I got to wait for it to rotate in. And even then there's, I don't know, people are rotating for a lot of cards. Like, the larger your collection is, the longer you got to wait, which can be potentially frustrating for players. But anyways, Spider-Man Noir getting a very significant buff. And that concludes our conversation about the OTA. But we're not done talking about Marvel Snap yet, because Weapon H came out this week. We've got a lot of cards that came out this week. We're going to be reviewing Weapon H, Adamantium Infusion, and Chamber. But we're going to start with Weapon H. I keep saying Weapon H. I think I said it like 4 times. Weapon
it's one of them.
X. There's weapons everywhere. This is the X variation of the weapon. 2/2. After one of your other cards is destroyed, +1 power. After every 3rd time, improve this effect by 1. Husky, to put it in perspective, I gave this a 3 stars on last week's Snapchat, and I think that I'm wrong. I think it's better than that. I think that it's producing pretty significant power. In my testing, I felt like this card was relatively solid, and I was getting it well over 20 power. Even though it's a bit of a sitting duck to Shangers, it's a sitting duck to Shadow King, it's a sitting duck to Carnage, Deathlock, and everything else that could perhaps have to take it out if Wolverine or X-23 bounces into its location, right? So overall, I can see where it's perhaps a little finicky at times, but from a straight power level perspective, I think this thing puts up legit strength.
It definitely does, but I'm a little bit lower on it than I think you are, just because it's a destroy card at the end of the day. Maybe I'm slightly biased because I'm not a huge fan of destroy, but destroy feels like very easy to interact with in just a rough way, and it's kind of it's not a hard condition to meet, but it is an additional condition to meet, and I think I'm still going to reserve judgment on it fully, because I don't think people have fully found what is perfect for this card. I don't think you just slot this into a destroy deck and say, yep, good enough, 1 card change, that's all I need. I think you really need to start pushing things a little bit more, toying around with maybe something like Squirrel Girl, because if you Killmonger that is absolutely bonkers. But I don't know. I'm not used to not knowing, but I'm still curious to see how this will turn out.
I was trying some different stuff. Like, I was trying like Shauna Firehair stuff. I was trying Squirrel Girl as well. I was trying a whole bunch of different things, and I felt like I was able to produce a lot of power. I felt that like even Null was a decent closer, despite the fact I wasn't able to rely on like Wolverine and the traditional ways of just trying to generate as much value as possible. Take out a couple incremental cards on their side, blow up your side, and generally null is like, well, this is almost 20 power. That's not bad, right?
Yeah.
I felt like Weapon X produced a lot of value. And specifically, even with lanes where like I would have Weapon X in one, and then I would Venom another. Venom would cause like some sort of ricochet happen with like X23. It would Wolverine's bouncing, and then Weapon X would actually prop up while things propagate across the board. Venom props up, and so like I felt like it gave you these other types of like ways to attack. It almost felt like I would put it in locations similar to the way you might put Dracula in a location. Be like, oh, I'm not done with that yet. You know what I mean? To say that it's perfect, though, is definitely, not there. Like, I wouldn't go higher than 4 stars on this. I don't think it's a meta breaker or anything like that. I think that the power goes up, but power can be countered in Snap, right? It definitely can. And unlike Human Torch, this thing just sits there, waiting to get punched in the chest, right? So the other challenge, as I mentioned, is like when you're destroying tons of things, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, do I want things like Wolverine or X23? Or do I want things like Headpool that I can just re kind of put where I want, and like they don't bounce where I don't want them to bounce, right? So I think that Weapon X is still being kind of like theory craft a little bit. I came away more impressed than expected, but I can see why you'd have some hesitation. But the other thing worth mentioning, and the last thing I'll mention before passing it off to you, is that Weapon X does represent still a good value from a season pass perspective. It is viable. Destroy is a relatively budget-oriented deck. Like, it's not expensive to build Destroy. There's so many different variations of Destroy. Like, Moira X is currently the more expensive card, and you just don't play Moira X in it, and the deck is still fine, right? The season pass still represents one of the best values you can get in Marvel Snap, especially when you consider that you're getting 6,000 tokens worth of value in the Weapon X itself. So, like, if you're asking me whether or not the season pass is worth it, it usually is just out of its pure merit. But Weapon X, I think the jury is still out on, but I'd lean better than I expected earlier on.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a solid pickup as a card. Destroy is fun for a lot of people, and this can, Destroy isn't the most, plug and playable archetype, but there is a lot of different cool things you can do with this. And, it is interactable. It can get shanked, it can get Shadow King, but you are playing a 2-drop to, potentially die to their 4/3, and maybe that's just fine. Where I struggle is, okay, what's the backup? Do I do like a Morgan Le Fay kind of thing? Do I do a more typical Destroy kind of thing? It's kind of a, what happens if I don't draw this card? I'm always thinking about the backup lines, but no, I'd say pick this card up if Destroy is your thing. If not, it is skippable. You don't have to get it, but it's definitely still good value. And I'm very glad that this isn't like a must-buy, you're missing out if you don't get this card, everything sucks if you don't. This feels like the right power for a season pass.
And the one thing I'll mention as well, alongside the deck that I was playing, which was like, as I said, Squirrel Girl, Shauna, some activators like that, it felt okay playing this on turn 5 because I could turn 5 Weapon X into Killmonger. Like, that was an acceptable line, and then close the game with Death Null or whatever I wanted to, right? And so, like, I felt like at the time, I was like, well, when I'm looking at this has to be down on turn 2 or it sucks or whatever. But if I'm not popping everything off until turn 5, that's totally fine. It still ramps up big right off the rip there. And remember, Killmonger also does have the benefit of being a tech card against their 1-drops, right? So end of turn doesn't like that. Doesn't like watching their, their bobber get popped and their sunspots die and all that stuff, right? Like, there's still value to what Killmonger does. And so I was okay playing this on 5 sometimes with that combination in particular. So I just wanted to mention that there. So that's our take on Weapon X. Definitely good for a season pass purchase. Jury's still out a little bit, but anyways, it's definitely playable, especially if you have a limited collection level. That takes us to our next card, which is, we'll just say, a little more expensive. It's super premium expensive. It's Adamantium Infusion. The 4-costed skill that reads, on reveal, revive your highest power destroyed card here with its power doubled. I was so unsure about this card because it's expensive. Only images of Icon from Agamotto rivals the expense of this card.
Yeah.
Also, super premium season pass card that has its own level of debate, scrutiny, and controversy as it is. So when I did my ranking, I'm like, you know what? I can see this falling into the 3 or 4 star category range. I was a little wider because I wasn't quite sure how it was going to be played. I personally played it in a Nimrod Black Panther shell. I wanted to pull out the Fallen one, but I ended up cutting the Fallen one. I like the Fallen one. I don't know why. I just like to cope with it a little bit.
He's fun. It's a cool card.
But I'll tell you, I was impressed with this card. And the power level of bringing back a Black Panther with Adamantium Infusion is stupid. You double the doubles, that's a lot of doubling. And I'm not Irish. I'm telling you right now, this was a fantastic card in a very niche application, but damn did it clap cheeks.
Oh, yeah. I actually haven't played with this card yet. Its season's still young. This is the one that's kind of fallen off. I don't know. It feels a little too much like Phoenix Force to me. I could play this, but like, is it really worth it to do that? And it's I worry in your testing because I have not played this card at all. Did it ever feel like a win more card? Like something that I'm already doing the best thing I can. This just really drives it home, but maybe wasn't worth it?
It was very face up. One of the challenges I had was that because it's so expensive, I felt like the decks that I was playing within, which is like the Nimrod type shells, Black Panther, Zola stuff, you almost need turn 7 to really make this valuable. Because if you think about like you do Shuri or you do Symbiote Spider-Man. I had the Kid Omega in there as well. And then it's like depending on what you had, so you can do like Symbiote Spider-Man into Black Panther, and then you could Kid Omega it or whatever, bring it back with Adamantium Infusion. Like there's ways you can kind of like manipulate the way the activate of Kid Omega worked, which I actually really like because Kid Omega could be used to use it within turn 6 because you're basically destroying it. But it's Kid Omega is better with Shuri because Shuri does the on reveal, does the double, whereas with the Symbiote Spider-Man they don't really play nice together.
Yeah.
The way you'd have to do it with Adamantium Fusion on turn 6 was you'd have Symbiote Spider-Man set up. You play like a Nimrod, right? You Kid Omega the Nimrod into the Symbiote Spider-Man location, and then merge the two.
Clever.
And sometimes on turn 6, one of the superpowers was you Adamantium Infusion with Carnage, because that's 6 energy, right? So you can destroy something with Carnage and then bring it back with double power on the other side. So if you were kind of cursed with the way everything played out, you can do Symbiote Spider-Man into Kid Omega Nimrod. Nimrod pops over to the Symbiote Spider-Man activate into the Nimrod, you Carnage it, and then you Adamantium Infusion into another lane. Like it's not perfect, but I felt like there was ways you could be creatively sequencing things when things didn't quite go your way. But if someone just lets you sit there on turn 7 and on turn 6 you literally Artem Zolded your Panther, then they're going to get destroyed, right? Like it's just the way it's going to work. My experience was there was a lot of retreats. People were retreating on me. They knew not necessarily knew that they were going to lose to Adamantium Infusion. They just knew I had the thing and they didn't have the answer, and they just left.
Yeah, I don't know. It does help you close out games, and sometimes that power is very, very necessary, but it feels very, very combo tricky. And maybe there's a combo that people can find. I know there's been a shocking amount, not too much, but like more than you would expect, of like Panther Zola things that pop up from time to time when people just aren't running the tech for it, but it feels a little bit vulnerable.
It does.
Like, Cosmo or location change.
Yeah.
Needs
it's definitely a little too face up for my liking. This wouldn't surprise me if it had a good win rate, low cube rate type thing where like you can't steal cubes from people from Adamantium Infusion. Perhaps because it's not seeing a lot of play yet, maybe. But that's just people not being prepared and not playing that line through their head. But I'm wondering if this will be better if one day someone comes up with a more mid-range style deck that can use this, like a Phoenix Force, like you mentioned before, right? Like Phoenix Force loves like something like these types of effects. I just didn't cook that. I didn't figure that out, right? I was doing the late game Zola stuff.
Have you seen? It probably wouldn't work with this card, but have you seen the zombie Phoenix Force deck by? I think it's by Jet.
No, I have not seen it.
Ooh, I might have to show you that one after. It's Phoenix Force is just a very, very solid card. Maybe Adamantium Infusion could work in that deck, but that deck is all about re-triggering things. You Kid Omega your zombie giant man, and then you later bring it back or maybe re-trigger it with Fire Hair, and it is a shockingly solid deck. And Adamantium Infusion might have a home there because Phoenix Force is random. But Adamantium Infusion is specifically the highest power. And if you can say, oh, I'm always getting the card I want, rather than, oh, sometimes I'm getting a random tiny card that happened to be destroyed, that could maybe have a home there.
For sure. Time's still going to have to tell here. Would I recommend Adamantium Infusion right now as of recording? Not necessarily, but it wouldn't surprise me if this ultimately does really well in the meta. It's also worth noting we are recording a little earlier than usual, so we don't have access to notable stats, especially with the OTA just dropping and stuff like that. So we are refraining from using stats because they're just not reliable at this point in time. So anyways, Adamantium Infusion, we'll have to see how it ages, but right now, I was impressed, but perhaps a little niche. And that's going to take us to Fire Claws over here. If Santa Claus's beard was on fire, it would look like Chamber. Chamber, the 2/3 that reads, activate. +2 power for each 5-cost or higher card you have here and in your hand. Last week, it was a little bit of a source of debate. I came in at 3 stars thinking it was going to be okay. I didn't think it was going to like blow the top off the roof, but it was going to be all right. Guest on the show, Lauren, came in with a 1-star rating, saying this card was going to be poo-poo. Has since rescinded the 1-star rating. Wait, listen. I appreciate the spice. Spice is the spice of life, right? You got spice is the spice of life. That was accidental, but it actually sounds kind of funny, so I'll keep it there. Yeah. But anyways, so Chamber for me, I keep giving my impressions first. I'll give you the floor on Chamber here, sir.
Okay. Before the OTA, with War Machine being a 4, this card is a lot harder to make work. However, I think this card would have been still very solid. There's an Isan Hydro-Man deck that was floating around a little bit that was doing some shockingly solid numbers, and Chamber fits right at home in that, but it fits even more right at home with War Machine. That card is bonkers. Yeah, it does suffer a little bit. You kind of have to get it down on turn 2 because you want to go turn 2 this, into turn 3 ramp, into a 5-drop. But this card feels so good. It is just okay, I am getting rewarded for building my deck in a certain way that wasn't great before, but was not a bad thing to do. And suddenly Blink decks have so much new life and such higher high roll, and it can really just go a little bit more toe-to-toe with some other decks. I would call this card probably 4 stars. It is a very, very niche 4 stars. It kind of has to go in, I would say, a Blink deck and not many other places. But my God, this card feels strong when you get it to pop off. I'm a little bit biased. I love me some War Machine decks, but it's nuts. What about you? What do you think of old Fireclaw's Chamber over there?
So what I'll say is that he definitely impressed me to the upside. So when you mentioned Blink, he absolutely can work in those Blink style decks because with Blink, you're running a lot of chunks, right? He likes chunks. Oh, yeah. Where I felt like he was fun was with Nicholas Fury, who, despite my best efforts, I have so many splits of Nick Fury. You can't see it. I'm scrolling. It doesn't move. I have so many splits. I can't hit a good split with Nick Fury. I have like maybe 7 of them, 8. Sad. Anyways, I'll continue working on it. But Nick Fury here, I think, it's really beneficial to that entire archetype, that shield style archetype. And it's funny because like they were just missing some power. Getting a 2-drop that can get to like 15 power, that's not bad. Right? That's not bad at all. It helps Nick Fury out. And you mentioned, is it Isan or Essen? I'm still not sure. People correct me every time I say it, no matter what.
Isan? I
think it's
I've
Isan.
Been saying it, and nobody's been yelling at me so far, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, you're one of the lucky ones then. So the 6'10 Isan, who pulls a created card down from here, obviously very good with Nick Fury, really good with other hand generative cards. And what I liked about this too was that, like, because the activate, you can actually sequence it.
Yeah.
Well, I just typed activate. So you can actually activate this at the end, and then Isan will pull the card. So essentially the +2 power gets applied, and then the card comes flying down, which I think is kind of cool. The other thing about Chamber, which I did, was there was times like on turn 4 or 5, I would activate Chamber. Because I was like, okay, I played something down. I played Chamber on 2, whatever on 3, Fury on 4, and I'm like, well, I'm going to play my Vision or whatever next turn, and my hand's already full. So I'm just gonna take the power now, and then I'm gonna play Isan next or whatever. I'm just gonna start playing those big chunks down. Was it a Shang-Chi magnet? Yes. But then again, now they're not Shang-Chiing my other chunk that's in the other lane. So he kind of did his thing, I think. I don't know. I thought he was pretty flexible from that perspective.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is phenomenal. I love him being an activate because you can choose the perfect time to really get him big. And one of the things I've been trying to do with him is, I can make him big on 5 and then potentially go with like an Alioth on 6 to stop some sort of combo deck, really get that priority that I need and win because of it. And yeah, you're perfectly fine if this card gets Shang-Chi'd. Like, oh no, they killed my 2-drop with a 4/3. Oh, the horror, the horror. And then I just win the other 2 lanes. Because Shang-Chi only hits 1 card. And if it's this 1 card, I'm fine with that.
See, that's how you know Huskypuppies is a professional content creator. He knew that bringing up Alioth was just going to bait so much engagement, so much anger. And like, you talking about Alioth so positively like that with a smile on your face just tilted out like probably 2,000 people.
Listen, I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a terrible person. Last time I was here, I did. I don't actually have a YouTube, but I did put a link. Well, I had you put a link to Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up."
Why did we're gonna do it again? We should have done it again.
I mean, if they got this far in the video, I think they're okay to not get got. But no, Alioth is a card I very much like in big ramp decks, and it gets a bad rap. It used to be bonkers, of course, but now it is a way for big ramp decks to interact in a way they couldn't before. If you are playing against a Mr. Negative, suddenly it's I just lose now because they're doing the combo thing, into, I can actually meaningfully play the game. And, it doesn't feel good to get Alioth, but it's nice to have a chance to, actually win.
There's someone out there that loves getting Alioth. They just like, I want it so bad. Getting Alioth and still winning is very, very fun, though. Like, that's one of the best feelings in Snap. Yeah, that's where his nerf comes in. Like, his power is so far down what it used to be. Wasn't he data mined as a 5 cost as well? Like something stupid.
Oh my god, it was like a 5/5 kill everything, whether it's face up or face down that was played this turn. Even on release, that card was bonkers.
Yeah, that's like one of those cards that's so funny. Like, everyone was kind of like, this card seems really good, kind of stupid. I don't know if it's actually good or not. It's like, bro, how do we miss that? It literally just deletes turn 6. Like, turn 6 didn't happen, essentially. That's absolutely crazy. But that's going to be our take on Chamber. We got more to talk about. Next up is Weapon H. Weapon H is a brand new card coming to Marvel Snap this week on Tuesday, launching. And if you're a Destroy Enjoyer, which, I mean, there's a lot of Destroy Enjoyers out there, you're going to like this card. It is a 7/14. It's a chonky boy, similar to Scar. It reads, when discarded, put this back with -2 cost. I like how it says put this back, not even put this back in your hand. Just put it back, damn it. Just put it back at -2 cost. So it goes, you discard it once with Swordmaster, goes to a 5/14. That's already really good. 5/14, you take those, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is just a really big card for destroy, or discard, I should say. I came in at 4 stars. I'm going to hold to my 4 stars. I think this is a good card because I feel like discard always has a place in the meta. And I feel like this card, because of that, might always have a place in the meta. You don't seem as sold. I'd be interested on your take.
The thing about discard is, at the current moment, I would say the best version of discard, it has a way to get Dokken to double up. We've talked about how doubling is very, very strong. Dokken is the easiest way for discard to double. And this card doesn't quite work with Dokken. You are having to run Lady Sif, Swordmaster, and probably some other things to really get this discounted down. And those cards are some pretty strong stats. but I don't think this will be the best version of discard. I think you might have to make a new archetype that I'm going to show my bias here and like maybe go some blink things because this is a 7 cost and you can take that out of the deck. Or something a little bit more value oriented, play some very overstated things. Maybe something like this. This is a deck building puzzle that I don't think will be the best thing, but I really like this. This is a cool card that I'm happy is coming out, and I think I'm curious to see what people will do with it.
Everyone thought that this was a Marvel Snap podcast. This is just a Blink podcast. This is just Husky
it's my
Blink.
favorite card. It's so cool. I love Blink. You caught me. I'm biased. I'm paid by Big Blink to
Big
show
Blink,
it to you.
yeah.
Yeah. It's such a cool card.
As someone who just may be a fan of the Dawkin Bullseye, decks, I might have had a role to play in that one. I'll tell you that I agree. That is like one of the top ways to play. But you also have the Apocalypse Khonshu variations, which are good. And I wonder, I think about old discard when you had the 6/9 American Chavez, right? And how those interactions work. Could this fill a role almost like that? Where you're pumping the Apocalypse, you're pumping the Weapon H. Turn 5, you have an option. You just play out the Weapon H for 5 power. Turn 6, MODOK into shenanigans alongside your Dracula. Hit the APOC, clap a noob. I'm just thinking there's a way to play a very dependable style of discard that doesn't need the combo-centric play of Bullseye Dawkin, which I still love, and get a surprising amount of power in. It's going to be face up because you're going to be discarding it. They're going to see it just like they see the APOC. People can do math sometimes. Right? Sometimes they do math. It is face up, but I wonder if this will represent a very dependable version of discard, especially with how sometimes you can you can sequence discard in creative ways with MODOK on 5 or MODOK on 6, right? And I feel like this at a 5 cost, even if it's just a 5 cost, is tremendously powerful, right? And even then, even if you want to continue discarding, maybe you just end up hitting it with Dracula. Not sure why you would, but maybe you could. I'm just saying there is some flexibility there.
Maybe top deck it on 6.
Yeah, you top deck it on 6. You can still hit it with the Dracula, sure, right? Because you can't play it on 6, of course. You could play the APOC down. Dracula hit the Weapon X. I'm so sorry. I don't want to mess up the names. Weapon H, Weapon. Yeah, I did mess up.
It's one of the letters.
I tried so hard to say the right letter, and I messed up. I actually literally Elmer fudded the numbers and the letters just to get it right, and I committed to saying it wrong. That's so embarrassing. But yeah, I wonder about this. And obviously, the one concern I had, I kind of brought up before, they did feel the need to buff Swordmaster. And that kind of makes me wonder about their confidence in this card.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just trying to get people thinking about this card a little bit early, get people more hyped, and maybe encourage buying it a little bit more. I don't know. It's this card becomes very, very good if you can get it to 3 cost. 3 cost is I'm very willing to run a 3/14 in my deck. It's just a question of, can you get that reliably? And I'm a little bit less high on it than you. I'd probably go 3.5 stars, which is definitely not bad. But I am very curious to see what will happen with this card, because this card is a puzzle and I can't wait to see people try and solve it.
So basically, I go 4 stars, you go 3.5. We round up to both of us at 4 stars. Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, overall, listen, I think this card's going to be probably solid. And the thing about it, too, is similar to what I said about Weapon X, where it's Weapon X is, it's not expensive to build Destroy right now. And I feel like discard got a little more expensive because you got definitely. Scorn, you got Khonshu. There's variations of that get more expensive. Yeah, Bullseye Dawkin, that variation is expensive. But dependable discard, Dracula, APOC, Sif, Swordmaster, that's cheap. You could build a pretty reliable, cheap version of discard with this. Proxima, is that a Series 4 card now, or is it 3?
I think that and MODOK are... MODOK Series 4.
No, MODOK has to be Series 3. There's no way MODOK is Series 4.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, keep talking. I'm fact checking.
I don't know. But yeah, this is a very, very cool sort of evolution deck. It's like, oh, I was playing my sort of more budget discard deck, and it's a cool card that upgrades in a very, very cool way for people who are sort of trying out the game. I like that a lot. It is very nice. I am a top player, but it's oftentimes I will find myself saying, oh, how does this card do at top level? How does this card do for me? Most people don't really care about that. Most people are going to have fun with these cards and play the decks a lot more casually than I do. And this card is, even if it isn't going to be great at my level where everybody's doing combo, the best things you can do, this card is a very cool enabler for a deck that a lot of people like. That standard dependable discard is just a cool thing to do. I used to play that deck. I loved that deck for a very long time. I've since moved on, but I think this card is going to bring a lot of people just a lot of joy.
If there was someone watching thinking, Alex is typing quite a bit trying to figure this out, that's because I was so shocked about a certain thing I just discovered that I had to fact check it against another site. So MODOK, Series 3, as I had said. It is Series 3. MODOK is Series 3. The reason why I'm so shocked is because Proxima Midnight is still Series 5. When did this card come out? No, it is Series 5 according to all three sites I just checked. I was blown away. I thought it was Series 4 too. They all say like Series 5. They all say Series 5.
Huh.
And so if Proxima Midnight is still Series 5, series drop when? I guess like that's crazy to me. I would never have guessed Proxima Midnight was still Series 5. Like that is actually kind of mind-blowing to me. And I guess we're a little desensitized. I guess someone who's a content creator, I'm constantly getting the new cards. Proxima Midnight should not be still Series 5. Like that's got to drop. That's crazy. Maybe that's a conversation for another day, but whoa, I did not think to see Proxima Midnight there, which is, I think, a little shocking. But anyways, there's the answer. MODOK is Series 3. But we do have a couple of mailbag questions, which I thought were actually kind of fun. And one of them, I think, is legit genius. Because I want your take on it, Husky. And I hope Second Dinner has their notepads out, because this is a fantastic idea, Second Dinner, and I hope you steal it. That's easy for you to say, says, Storm should become a card like Prowler or Kate Bishop, where she gets different weather effects as skill cards. That's cooking.
Oh, that's kind of sick. Yeah, for anyone who didn't read the OTA notes, because I didn't until they pointed them, my chat pointed out to me, because I don't like reading. They said, hey, we don't really want Storm to be this sort of toxic lockout card as much of a popular character as she is. So I really like that idea. That really fits in. I think she's probably fine with War Machine going away. That's kind of cool. Oh, there's some very good design, like kind of a Nico Minoru, Herbie almost kind of card, where it's like cycles through different. Oh, I like that a lot.
Yeah, like even if she was an activator, she got skills. Like imagine like her skill or activate was like, like Lightning Storm, do 1 damage to 5 random characters.
Yeah, or like it's like afflict or move things, or maybe, and then maybe one of her effects can still be that original flooding type of thing, but you just make it less consistent, so it's a little bit less toxic to play against.
Yeah, skill card or the activate thing like Herbie. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. When I read that, I was like, hell yes, that's a fantastic idea. So honestly, Second Dinner, steal that one, because it's easy for you to say is cooking. And a Second Dinner's like, yeah, it is easy for you to say. We got to program this game, damn it. But still a good one, worth considering. Charles Spadina says, returning player here. Truthfully, not excited about any of these cards, but I am excited now because I get to use this month of play to gather resources and catch up on the cards I've missed or save for the new Shang-Chi. The reason why this statement kind of surprised me, and I want to throw this to you, Huskies, is first of all, welcome back. We have had some players coming back to Snap, which is always nice to see. But the thing that really shocks me is someone being excited about not playing cards in a card game. They're like, yo, see all these cards coming out this season? Forget them. I'm going to hoard resources so I can have fun next season. That's where we're at, though, at Snap, where it's like, first of all, I think they're giving, like, the cards they're giving away in like the limited time game modes, like they're being more generous than they've ever been. Let's give
Hydro Man
Snap
was
credit.
800 gold or free. I love that so much.
Yes, they've been so much more generous in the past. We are better today than we've ever been in Snap. Is there still room for improvement? Of course. Of course there is, right? But they've made so many good steps in the right direction. Second Dinner needs credit for that. But when I read a comment like this, I'm like, damn, there are still people out there that are excited about not playing cards in a card game to then play cards later. It goes to show you that, like, maybe we need more pre-cons. Maybe we need more ways to engage with new cards. I ventured 2 years ago the idea of having like a trial system where like when a card comes out, you get trial tickets to actually cook with like the auto deck of that card. Like, Glenn, make up an auto deck for like Weapon H. Give someone 10 trial runs with the Weapon H auto deck. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of cool. And then they can buy it after. Give them a chance to test the card out and see, you know, what they think of it themselves. Like, there's opportunities to give people a chance to kind of flavor the cards and decide what they want to do, as opposed to like, well, I can't get everything, so I'm going to hoard resources and maybe I'll have fun next month. But listen, Charles, I'm glad you're back, but it's just kind of crazy, isn't it, Husky?
It's a little bit wild, but I get it. There are some cards that just don't... I'm not going to like them. Even if they're great cards, like, I don't really want to play the card. I don't want to play Arishem. It could be the top meta thing. I just don't like it. I don't like the play style. I don't like what it does. I don't like playing against it. And that's fine. I think it is, I mean, it's kind of rough that we are in a system where, you know, people are excited to skip out on cards rather than, oh, maybe I'll pick this up. But I am very glad that there's returning player rewards. Oh my god, that's so nice. There have been so much better ones, and new players get new decks. It's so nice. I want it to be more. I want there to be more.
I'm just saying that, like, I would like to see Second Dinner really think about, like, well, players like playing the new stuff, and how do we create that type of engagement while also obviously keeping the lights on and everything. But
of course.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, there's still room to improve. Second Dinner has clearly been listening, because I think they've made significant improvements. The new game modes have been fun. I really like the fact they're doing like a 2-a-month rotation in. Like, that's great. I think it adds a lot of flavor. Like, I play the game modes when they're out. Like, I'm not on the ranked ladder. I'm playing the game modes. I'm trying to unlock things. I needed the Leech question mark emote. Like, I just needed it, right? So a lot of reasons to be excited in Marvel Snap. And if you want to see more excitement, Husky, I know I just interrupted you, but it's okay. It's worth it. Because if you want more excitement, you're going to use the links down below. You're going to find Huskypuppies on Twitch TV, where you're going to see some absolute god-tier deck brewing, god-tier gameplay. And for those that might have skipped through the middle section, I'm also going to link Huskypuppies' YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out as well. Husky, any closing thoughts?
Not too much. I am just very, very happy with the state of Snap at the moment. I think this OTA was one of the best we've ever seen. I'm real happy. Things are looking good for the future. It's so nice. It's like, yeah, we've got a ways to go. But it's, combine that with, I found a new love of what I call stress decks on Twitch. You were there for one of them, if you remember. I'm given 3 cards by either someone in chat or someone who just rated in. And I build the best deck that I can in 2 minutes with very, very stressful music playing the entire time. And then we run it on top infinite ladder, and it goes shockingly well. Flight of the Bumblebee is a very, very fun song for that, with everyone just yelling out suggestions, and it makes a weird deck. But I remember the last time I was on here, things were a little bit more, you know, Kid Omega was pretty recent at that time. But I'm just happy with how things are going. I'm happy with streaming on Twitch. Come on over there. It's a good time. It's a little bit chaotic. And I'm so happy you had me on here again. Thank you so much. It is always a pleasure to do this and to be around you.
I appreciate that so much, dude. And I have to tell you, I remember when I raided in to you, it was a lot of fun. You're like, yo, hit me with 3 cards. And I remember like, hit me with 3 cards that kind of work together, and I'll make a deck. And I'm like, oh yeah? You want 3 cards that work together? I'm like, Mantis, Rescue, Carnage. And you're like, what? And I'm like, start the timer, mods. And you're like, no. Your deck was so awful, but it was so fun.
It went positive. It was I think it was, I can't remember. Was I up like 6 cubes at the end of it? It was a small sample, but oh my god, it was so fun.
If anybody can make Carnage, Rescue, and Mantis work, it's Husky Puppies. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next one.